Hey, everybody, and welcome back to day 9 of 31 days of indie horror. Can you believe it? It is the 9th of October when this comes out, which is technically it's 8th right now that we're recording this, but shh, we've got I've got a very special guest. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got a very special guest, John Ward, a filmmaker from Vegas? Vegas
Las
filmmaker?
Vegas.
Yes,
Yep,
Las
Las Vegas,
Vegas
Nevada.
filmmaker. John Ward, how you doing, John?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you.
Good, good. John wanted to come on this, and so I wanted to pick something fun for both of us to watch. So, of course, I picked Jim Wynorski's film Piranhaconda. I can't believe I just said that. That was a joke from the movie.
Oh, that's right.
That's she said. He said. I can't believe you just said that. The movie itself, like, all right. So I guess we'll start kind of talking a little bit about the movie, like, story wise. But I mean, to kind of sum it up, some people are making a movie out in the middle of a jungle area where there happens to be two piranhacondas that are like loose and killing people. Possibly three. I don't know. Like, there was something, we'll get to that at the end. By the way, there will be spoilers in this review. So if you have not seen Piranhaconda, please go to Tubi and go watch it yourself. Or if you own it, go watch it yourself. But yeah, so, there's two piranhacondas eating people. I mean, at one point they come across one person, and I guess eat the person together. But they don't fight each other or anything because they're like, I guess they're husband and wife, piranhacondas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one's male and one's female because of the eggs.
The eggs, and I mean, there's a lot of eggs. So, like, they really did set up for a potential sequel for lots of piranhacondas out there, which some of them got smashed and some of them I don't believe did. I don't think they killed all of the eggs, that were there.
No, well, and it doesn't have to be just one area with the eggs, too.
Oh, yeah.
There could be many areas. But yeah, the one girl, so I don't think she bashed them all. She only did a few.
That was Diana Terranova, actually, who did that, and it was in that. And I absolutely adore her. She's in a lot of these movies, and she's just a lot of fun whenever I see her on screen. So I thought she did a wonderful job. In fact, most of the cast itself, like, I was pleasantly surprised. Everybody, including Michael Madsen, who, I mean, I hate to say it, but sometimes he's hit or miss in these movies, Sometimes he looks like he's phoning it in, and sometimes he looks like he's having a lot of fun. And I think that's what he felt like in this movie, felt like he was having a lot of fun.
My only two issues with the actors is, one, it's I don't like Michael Madsen during this period because his hair is awful. It's just that it's like druggy hair or something, or I want a mullet, but it's not a mullet, or I want long hair, but it's not long hair. I want short hair, but it's not short hair. It's like, dude, just cut it off. He's a good-looking guy, or could be a good-looking guy, because we've seen that like in Reservoir Dogs and stuff with the short hair. And I think that long hair just really goes against him. I think it's like, ew, that's Michael Madsen, that guy. Even though I like him. And I thought he did. I thought that he looked like he had fun, and he's normally pretty good in stuff. Big budget or small budget, he's pretty good. My only complaint in this is the lead girl. Her voice is so high pitched and so annoying that that it's just like, I can't believe. I mean, she should be in a Chucky movie.
That's because I enjoyed her.
No, she's fine. I thought she was good to look at. She did a good job, but that voice, that little girl voice, the whole movie, and it's just like, oh my god, only Jennifer Tilly should have this voice.
I don't know. I
thought it was so annoying.
I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't. it never bothered me that much. I don't know. I guess I'm so used to watching different movies with people with different voices, period, that whenever they have the voice, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I don't, it doesn't, it doesn't bother me when I hear it. Everybody seemed like who they look like. You know what I mean? Like I imagine that voice coming out of that woman, So it didn't
Yeah,
bother me.
I definitely did not think that voice. I kept looking really closely at her mouth to see if it was ADR'd. Like maybe she had a really thick accent and they dubbed it over with this little kid voice or something. I just kept staring at it. It's just like, okay, at some point it's gonna mess up, and it didn't. I mean, overall, I thought everybody did actually a pretty good job of acting. I was surprised that a movie called Piranhaconda that they actually had, actually pretty good actors in it.
I'm trying to I was trying to look it up. There was one there's one annoying scene that I felt annoyed by, and that was where the girl who just kept saying that girl's name over and over again. I was
Oh,
like, we
that
get
is,
it.
it's the
Lalane or
only
something.
character I remember because they've said it like 20 times, and it's Lalane. And
Lalane.
Lalane, are you
Uh,
there? Lalane, hi Lalane. Lalane, hi. And it's like, okay, every time you said the name, did you get money from this or something? Or is this the
yeah,
producer's wife? Or,
I don't
why is this name being said over and over and over again when I can't tell you anybody else's name in the movie?
yeah, nobody I probably could if I looked at the names or whatever, because there's a couple names that they like the main one of the main actresses who played Kimmy Weston or whatever, right? That was the character's name, and she was like the quote unquote like scream queen character that was like the big name, or
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
the prima donna. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, I thought she did a wonderful job.
I
It
really liked her in it. I didn't like it when she turned. Like near the end, she's nice, when Michael Madsen gives her some water, and she's like all of a sudden like, oh look, now she's a nice person. And then she's like, does anybody here have sunscreen? And you're like, oh no, now you're back.
oh
Like
yeah,
I thought your character had that
little
turning point
arc.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where you now
Well,
are a nice person.
she did sort of, because at the end she tried to save everybody or whatever. Like she went into the car, you know what I mean? Like she had little moments to her, I think, that were kind of
The
sweet.
actress did a good job. I
Mm,
thought she did do a good job. Yeah, I thought
yeah,
everybody did a good job. The guy who played the director and I thought everybody did a good job. Even the girl with the high voice, she was fine as an actress. I just didn't like the pitch of her voice.
yeah. Well, I mean, and like I said, that never bothered me, so I can get it. I get that. It's just I guess everybody has their own thing. Like I just don't even really it didn't even like bother me enough to even think, like even remember what she sounded like that. So didn't bother me. But I liked the main guy too, the guy who played Jack, the stunt guy who, I guess is supposed to play the like the Kane Hodder of the group or something. He's like the killer always or whatever. And
That was funny. I like that.
yeah, it was like it looked like a movie that Jim Wynorski was having fun making, because it was sort of poking fun at his own movies and stuff, or like the
I
genre,
could see that.
uh,
Yeah.
the, the genre in itself. So I always kind of like, a lot of people get mad at that kind of stuff where it's like people on set of a movie being killed one by one or something. And I actually enjoy those type, like that kind of subgenre of horror, of people making a movie and getting killed during the making of the movie or whatever. Um, I laugh because what is it? They're like halfway through the movie or something, and then they get the call that the funding's not going through.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Which
and
probably happened to Jim Wynorski at some point. Who I do have to point out, I think is he's probably my favorite Corman director, and I have been following his films since the '80s and got to
mhm,
see a lot of his movies in the theater, and basically in like San Francisco and Berkeley. And so, I've always wanted to see this because it's his movie.
right.
So I thought that was so I knew that there would be some sort of quality with it.
Mhm.
But surprisingly for a Jim Wynorski movie, there's no nudity.
I was gonna say that. Like, this is not. If you're looking for a movie where people take off their tops randomly, and I was waiting for it. Like, I was almost like, okay, this is very tame for a Wynorski movie. And I
Yeah,
think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it went probably to sci-fi. This is probably like a made for sci-fi type movie with Corman,
that was
you
my
know.
thought. Yeah, that was my thought, because there's not even the like a like a temptation of the girl starting to take off the, like her shirt or the top, like the bikini.
Yeah,
And there's nothing like that, and we just see the bare back. I mean, there's
like
literally, even when the guy's putting the
sunscreen.
like the cream of the sunscreen on the girl's back, he doesn't even take that off.
Yeah. And I think literally it was probably a thing that Corman, had made to mention to him that we want to give this to sci-fi and we don't want to, you know, we don't want to have to cut around the nudity, and stuff. I mean, it's easier, honestly, when the movie is going to go someplace and you can't, they can't see that. I mean, if you even notice, there's not even that much cursing in the movie either. Like, it's
No,
very
yeah. The
so
guy calls her a witch. When
yeah,
he's chasing the main girl at the very end, he goes, "Come here, you witch!" And I'm like, "Witch? Who calls a woman a witch?" Like,
yeah.
I thought, is this made for TV?
It is. I think it was made for TV, which is fine. I mean, it didn't bother me because I'm one of those people that I don't watch movies for like the nudity and everything. If that happens to be in it, I always want sort of like a reason for it. And generally his movies are like, nude fests. They have a lot of that stuff in it. So it was really nice that, sort of a change of pace to see a very tame Jim Wynorski movie.
Yeah, because a lot of his stuff is almost softcore porn.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Actually,
and
like half of it is because like he does stuff like ghost boobies or something, or whatever, and it has to do with like the paranormal people finding and having sex and like you know
right.
what I mean, and it's okay, like that's you kind of when you see those movies, you know what you're getting yourself into. When you see Piranhaconda, you're expecting it to be like a sci-fi movie, like an asylum type film, and it this was like because I know Roger Corman did um what is it he also did like Dino Croc and all
Oh,
those things,
Sharktopus and
Sharktopus
yeah,
and
yeah. He did a bunch of, yeah, which were all for Sci-Fi Channel. Originally, all for Sci-Fi Channel. So that makes sense that this is. So I do want to point something out from the very beginning that I thought was funny because it's a theme throughout the movie, is the Piranhaconda theme song.
that was pretty cool. I actually really like that too. Having its own like actual theme song, and I mean, you heard it. It had a catchy tune too. I mean, it was
Yeah, and they used it like 3 or 4 times in the film.
definitely. Definitely. I really enjoyed it. All in all, I enjoyed this film. Like, I was kind of surprised, not because because I like Jim Wynorski, but I just didn't know what to expect because, you go to these kind of movies like Piranhaconda and whatever else, Dino Shark and, Sharktopus and, whatever, right? You're expecting them to be kind of silly, and
Right.
goofy. And this was not that silly, honestly. Like, this is almost like a straight up, like, old fashioned 50s type, giant animal movie, And I kind
Well,
of
and
like
they
that.
actually had a plot too.
Yeah.
It's she even says, "Why are you kidnapping a B movie crew?" And the guy's like, "Well, we did get bought out by MGM,
Yep.
so we're gonna, they got a lot of money." So it's like, oh, okay, you're actually giving reasons for this to happen. It's like, okay, and Roger Corman did work with MGM, so who knows? Maybe a lot of this has some sort of reality to it. So
I well, I don't know if a film crew's ever been kidnapped and
Well,
then asked.
not that part, but the
Yeah,
the MGM part,
yeah.
they pulled our financing. These are probably things that both Corman and Wynorski have dealt with. So
Well, I mean, what is it? MGM, didn't MGM used to own Full Moon Pictures and
no,
stuff?
that was Paramount. Paramount owned it.
Okay. So so MGM didn't own anyone.
But the '90s Corman stuff, like a lot of like the Mask of the Red Death, Carnosaur, a lot of that stuff is MGM.
Oh wow. Okay. So there you go. So I was thinking because Paramount did pull the fundings out from Full Moon, that maybe, what I mean, like all of a sudden like companies would do that especially back in the day in the 90s, because they went into home video with these companies thinking whatever, and then they just it just became too much. They weren't making enough, for whatever, right? So I'm guessing that's what sort of the idea from this is, that maybe the company that was making this like B movie or whatever, or they were making all these B movies, and all of a sudden they're like, nah, never mind, we want to cut them, cut them out, the
Well, yeah, because
financiers.
this is supposed to be part three. So he's wearing the hat for part two, but he's the slate says that it's part three.
Yeah. It was
So
cool. Like I enjoyed the filmmaking aspects. I enjoyed the then the actual like creature aspect, and then also like, because if you think about it, this is three different types of films too. There's like the people making the movie and then they get cut off. Then there's the creature feature, but then there's also the adventure story with the kidnappers.
right.
So like it has a lot going for it for like a silly kind of B movie.
Well, and the guy who played the lead kidnapper, I thought he was really good. I actually liked him as an actor quite a bit. I thought that he didn't ham it up or anything. He just played it straight.
Which one? No, because there were two
The
kidnappers. The
the main
boss?
main guy, the boss who, yeah, when the girl was shaving him,
Yeah, okay. He was
that
pretty
guy.
good. I also like the like the lead of the terrorists or whatever you want to call them. The lead kidnapper guy that wasn't the boss. He was the
Right.
guy
No,
that
yeah,
I liked him too a lot.
he
Uh,
was good too. Yeah. I mean, I thought
yeah,
everything. I
yeah.
thought just the acting surprisingly um, is above what you would normally expect in something like this. And
Hmm.
I'm guessing, because we brought up Sci-Fi Channel, is there is blood. There's a lot of body parts, and but did
CGI
you
blood
notice?
mainly.
Well, the red haze. So when somebody would get eaten, all of a sudden there'd be like this red haze on the
Right.
screen, and it would come on also to like the camera. And
Hmm.
that I really enjoyed. That I thought was kind of cool, because it's like, okay, well, if this is made for Sci-Fi Channel, we obviously can't show blood splurting everywhere.
Hmm.
So we'll do this kind of like a spray of this red haze, at the screen, or something like that, and we'll just show like a foot and a hand on the ground. So I thought that was kind of cool. I haven't seen I've seen blood splattered on the camera before, but not like almost like a haze, or like like a spray.
Right.
I thought that was kind of cool looking.
I did too. I like that. I liked it all. Like, I mean, I don't think there was anything in this movie that I was just like, okay, this is bad. You know what I mean? Like, everybody did a great job. The direction seemed, pretty good. I mean, honestly, the cinematography wasn't terrible. Like there wasn't anything bad about it, really, in my opinion. I was especially surprised because I didn't know what to expect with Jim Wynorski. These days, you know what I mean. He
I thought it
makes
would be a lot cheesier.
Yeah, I thought it would be cheesier and sillier, and the act. Like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the girl's told, like, I guess her screaming's not good and not realistic, so she goes to practice her screaming out in the
Oh yeah,
woods, and then the Piranhaconda comes after her, and she starts screaming for real. And I was like, it was funny because you could hear her fake screams and the way she tried to do it, and then you could hear her real screams, and like it was
Well, and
cool.
yeah, the director points that out that she must be practicing her scream.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that,
And
that
then
and I did like how the director is very straightforward with everybody. This is awful. I hate this. Well, what did you like about it? It stinks.
right.
It's that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the director was fun. And I don't know. Was the one thing I was kind of disappointed, I guess, by I thought about this was the Piranhaconda itself. I didn't I like if I saw that after me, I would have just thought it's just a giant snake. I would not at all say it looks like a piranha and a conda and an anaconda together. Like
I agree.
I never would have had this movie not been called that, I wouldn't have guessed, you know.
I
Um
completely agree. Yeah, yeah, because it's even with its teeth, you didn't really get, the piranha mouth would be, moving really fast,
mhm,
kind of like how they eat, and this it just chomped, and that
right.
was it. That's all it did. So there was really no reason for it to be a piranha except just to have it in the title.
And there was no reason for
So
it to be an anaconda because what's the greatest point of an anaconda? Like what makes an anaconda stick out is the choking. It kills its prey with its body, right? And they just had it chopped the whole time. So I was
yeah,
kind of disappointed at that because I was hoping that there would be a scene where it would wrap itself around somebody and just squeeze. And I mean, that's an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? When it comes to CGI and everything, you could easily done that. And I don't understand why they didn't take why it was all just chomping. But they did have that
well,
little scene with around the car, you know,
that's where I thought it was going to wrap around the car and squeeze the car, and that's
and
how
it
she
didn't
was
even
going to
do
die.
that. It didn't even
No,
do that.
it just wrapped around so she couldn't get out.
Right.
And then it stuck its head in, which is fine. It would have been nice to have actually seen inside the van when it did that, but budgetary reasons, I guess. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because if you remember Anaconda, the movie Anaconda, it swallows John, it squeezes John Boyd, it swallows him, it does all that stuff. And in this we didn't get that. It was just chomping. And that was
Chomping the
about
whole
it.
time. And every chomping is the same. It's like it chomps and then you just see the feet
Yeah.
of the person. And I'm like, I
Well,
get
that's
it.
where that red haze comes in, because it chomps red haze, and then
And
you
then
see the foot.
the foot. Which I think is funny, sort of like it's the same thing over and over again. It's kind of cute in a way, but it's kind of weird to say a horror film is cute. But
The
um,
anaconda, the piranhacondas were cute.
yeah,
I'd
like
keep one in like an aquarium.
I don't know. I don't think I could. Yeah, I'd be a little worried. I think I don't think they'd like that. Um, but no, I mean, all in all, I found the movie to be just a fun, um, like a more fun movie than what even I was expecting it to be. You know, I think because I've had Jim Wynorski on my radio show back in the day, and I've chatted with him about stuff, and I kind of know a little bit about the way he works, and a lot of his marketing is on boobs. So the fact that this didn't really have any, it's kind of shocking. Like it almost feels like it's a different director, you know.
Yeah, a little more mainstream, and because even the locations and everything look good. I mean, obviously they shot this in Hawaii because the license plates are Hawaii, and
Mhm.
then they're in the waterfall looked really good, even though they kept running past the same waterfall over and over again. But that's okay. It's a nice looking location, and the factory that they were in was pretty cool too.
And the little
So
beach,
it's
like
yeah, the little beach and stuff. It looked like they actually put out an effort to make this.
I know I enjoyed it, and whatever they were at, like some kind of resort too, when they were getting the people pampered and stuff, and
Right.
I was like, this is kind of like this looks like a fun little shoot. I don't know how long. Generally, his movies are like take like 3 days to shoot, or something. Maybe a little longer. Maybe a little longer for this one, I would imagine. But I would I like I have this feeling a lot of it has to do with Roger, you know. having some kind of say in the production.
Sure.
So, all in all,
I mean, that was definitely a high point for me, is when I, looking at, going through the credits and I saw Roger Corman, it was just like, oh, good. It's because I'm such a huge Roger Corman fan.
oh, okay. I thought you were saying, oh, good, because now he's going to make sure that, Jim, chills out with a lot of the stuff that Jim likes to do. But if you think about it, Jim used to, I mean, before he got into like the big TNA, by the way, I have my monkey here, TNA monkey. He was disappointed at this movie because he couldn't squeak during it. But there was but when it comes to like like Jim Wynorski back in the day, like he did a lot of sequels. He did like Munchies 2, I think, or something, or tons of different stuff back in the day, and a lot of them weren't TNA movies. These were like family friendly, like Ghoulies 4. I don't think had any TNA in it, if I'm correct. Might have, but I don't remember it having it.
But then you look at something like Deathstalker 2, and that has Monique Gabriel, is naked throughout the whole movie.
Okay, so then he has some, but like I guess the more family friendly movies, or whatever. He did. See, he's done different stuff. He does like the doggone Christmas movies and stuff, like
that dog is naked. That is a naked dog.
It's true.
Yeah, that dog has no clothes.
Okay, he did Munchie 1. Okay. But he did 976 Evil 2. I don't remember nudity in that. But once again, it could have, because I don't remember it. But he's
directed so many. It's hard to remember some of them. I mean, I could just kind of look over at I have a whole shelf of Roger Corman films, and I have a little section of Jim Wynorski, so I'm just kind of looking at his stuff.
That's awesome that you separate them, so you get the directors and the producers right?
Oh yeah. I got my. It starts off with Full Moon, and then it goes into the directors of Full Moon, then that kind of wraps into like the J.R. Bookwalter stuff, going into Roger Corman and that type of thing. So yeah, then in the Roger Corman, it's done by director or producer. So
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. That's a neat little thing there, because I'm I'm not as well. I'm a little bit organized, but not really. Since I moved out here, I haven't really been doing a lot of that, and I have so many movies that don't have places to go right now. They're just in boxes, until I'm able to get a bigger place for myself, like my own place. Then everything will have like be out, and I can find things a little bit easier. I do want to buy this movie someday, though. This seems like a movie I'd probably watch at least once a year. Like it was very surprising. So I'll be happy.
I would own it. I would add it to the collection. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you. It was funny that I thought you had seen this because I knew you were a Jim Wynorski fan.
No, I could never find it, and I kind of I think you were actually the one who introduced me to Tubi. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah, I did, because we did Alien versus Hunter on there. Yeah. So,
and I still don't know what's fully on here. I mean, I check for stuff and it's not on here. So I look for a movie. Oh, is this on? It's not, can't be found. So
one of my favorite things is it actually tells you like more things like this. So it has like recommendations, and that's where I found a lot of my movies for this 31 days is looking on Tubi, and I think Piranhaconda was one of the ones that popped up, and I was like, oh, this would be a perfect one to do with John, So
yeah, I was very happy that you picked that one and that it was on there. So it's just one I could never find. I don't think it's available on DVD, and I think I even remember Jim in a post, on Facebook once said that it's not like you could buy it overseas, but it's not available here.
Right. Yeah. So cool. Well, I wish that we could, if we could find that. I don't know. He's done a lot of these like movies with Corman, so maybe more of them will come out. I know it's been sort of tough with a lot of distribution stuff going on, but anyway, all in all, to like sum it up, I guess we did you have any more notes? Any more things you wanted to discuss, or?
No, I think that's actually, yeah, that's it. We covered everything. So, oh, well, the only thing that I thought was kind of weird is that I wasn't sure if this was the same person, that the film is edited by Tony Randall. Is that the Hellraiser 2 guy?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I can look that up real freaking quick.
And of course, there's a ton of stock footage in this too, which they do give credits. I mean, like the stock footage of the credits is like that long. So what I did do is a lot of stock.
It's the director of Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. So
wow. Okay.
Editor. So I don't know. Maybe he's good friends with, or he seems to do a lot of the stuff with I think with those companies or whatever. Because what is it? Editorial department. He's done a lot of editing. I didn't even know that. He did a lot of stuff for Jim Wynorski too. Like they worked on a Doggone Adventure together. Tony directed it and Jim wrote it. So I'm guessing they're good friends, you know. He edited Nessie and Me, which I really, really enjoyed. I thought that was a cute little movie. I don't know if you ever saw that one or not.
I don't think I've seen one of his, unless it was done in like the 90s. I don't think I've seen any of like his kid type stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen, Munchie and some of those other things, but I haven't seen any of the dog stuff or anything like that.
Well, he, the funny thing about that is like I saw Nessie and Me and it felt like it was a 90s movie, like it felt like, and it was made in 2000 whatever, and it felt like something that you would have seen in the 90s because it just had that sensibility that those movies do. So I'd suggest it. It's fun, it's cute, it's the idea. It kind of reminded me of did you ever see the Dennis the Menace episode where Dennis becomes friends with the Loch Ness Monster?
I have not, no.
That's one of my favorite, like, Dennis the Menace episodes, the cartoon, not the live action, but the cartoon. Like that's what it reminded me of, like somebody becoming friends with Nessie, and everything.
Okay.
So it's cute. I've always been a fan of the Loch Ness Monster. I want more Nessie movies, I want horror Nessie movies, but, we don't really get most of those.
I am a big fan of the Loch Ness Horror by Larry Buchanan. So. Oh,
nice. Well, there you go. I guess, that about wraps it up. What have you been up to lately, John?
Working on the Cosmic Horror Anthology, working on another anthology that just found footage with Brad Twigg, writing Axmas 3 and 4. Joe Lujan and myself, Joe Lujan did like the Immortal Wars series and Rust. We're combining Axmas and Rust together. So, and there's a special guest seasonal killer in it that shows up at the very end of the movie. So we're not going to say who that is until the film comes out. Let's just say that the person is Canadian. The director is Canadian.
Okay,
and
cool.
he's now part of this project too, and hopefully in a larger way if we do a sequel. So there's a fair amount of stuff going on, and Axmas is actually on Tubi. So it's on Tubi. If you type in Axmas, the first one comes up.
That's awesome. So just number 1 is on Tubi right now.
Yeah. I actually have no idea how it even got on there. So it's Joe Sherlock, the director Joe Sherlock pointed that out to me, and I'm like, really? And I looked, and there it is. But where's part 2? So.
I mean, it was put out by Scream Time, right? Films and stuff, right?
Originally, but I asked Todd Jason Cook. I said, did you know that this was on Tubi? And I don't even think he knew, because he goes through a third-party company.
Oh.
And they put it out on the streaming site.
I guess they're the one who did it.
Yeah, so I don't know who makes money off of this, but I certainly haven't seen a check in the mail, but it's pretty cool to see it on Tubi, though.
I think a lot of times when the movies are on the streaming channels or platforms and everything, it's not about making money. It's just about getting your work seen. So,
Sure.
you know, in the indie level at least, you know what I mean? So it's great. I mean, if you can make money off of streaming, awesome, but it's sort of really hard, unfortunately. So I'm glad that we both gave money to Jim Wynorski's stuff, you know, or whatever for this, for Roger Corman, I guess, you know, for
Yeah,
Piranhaconda.
whoever gets money off of Tubi for Piranhaconda just
Yeah.
made a little bit of extra cash from us.
Yes. And I'll probably watch it again another time. So I'm sure.
I would like to see a sequel, so it'd be nice if he did one.
Yeah. Piranhacondas, which I feel like this movie should have been called from the beginning because there was not just one Piranhaconda, you know.
So maybe it's like Piranhacondas,
Piranhacondas.
do
Ooh.
something like that.
No, Piranhacondas like a snake.
Oh,
You
there we
know?
go.
Yeah. Like, where's that? Where's that movie?
Piranhaconda. That there is that movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking that movie,
Yeah.
you know, which I own because I have a DVD of like 4 different movies. One is like The Serpent and the Rainbow, and
Oh, I've seen that one. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that collection.
you know, and I think The Funhouse was in it, which I absolutely adore that movie, and I want that on Blu-ray.
That's a great film.
You know, that there's some, I mean, some classic films, you know, out there or whatever, that horror films. So, but we're gonna really be diving more into indie movies. Like this is the B movies at its finest, you know, for Piranhaconda. So
Yeah, that's more up here on that level. So I was expecting like here. Or like
I know I was higher up than what we've even had. So I was fairly surprised. But don't worry, Paul and I have a movie picked out that will knock it back down.
well, yeah, you got to keep that status quo. You know, you can't go higher.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I whatever. You know, we've already watched Veronica, so you know, there can't go much.
Yeah.
Can't go much different than that, I guess. But anyway, thank you so much, John. This was awesome. I had a blast.
Of course, thank you.
Stick around after this because I'd like to chat with you for a second. But
Sure.
and thank you once again. But everybody, tune in tomorrow. We'll have another one all the way up to Halloween. So get ready for some crazy episodes. I don't know. We got a lot of guests because a lot of people asked to be on the show. So got a lot of guests.
It's a good show.
I guess. Like, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to watch a movie and then review it.
It is.
Especially with this kind of lower, you know, thing of it, you know, where it's an indie movie. So, all right. Well, thank you, John, and everybody.
Sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and check us out on the flip side. Bye.